up if you can actually see that screen. Okay, it's a protocol for image analysis. And it's really just a way for us to talk. We're gonna engage in 2 steps. Step 1, I'd like you to work in your small group for each participant to talk aloud or write by completing 4 sentences. We're talking about this image here on the screen, which I guess you probably have not seen before. So the first sentence completion activity is I see. Then this image makes me feel adjective because explanation. I wonder, complete the sentence. I would like to learn more about, right? So first you'll spend some minutes letting each participant interpret and analyze the picture. Then you will annotate the image in some way to give new meaning that reflects some of the ideas. So there's group 1, you have a kind of blank page. We're using the Google Slides. I'm sharing my screen with you now. There's the link. Anyone with the link can edit. I'm putting the link in the chat room. Give me a thumbs up when you can open that PowerPoint document and get yourself to that cartoon. Give me a thumbs up when you have gotten there.
How do you know which group you're going into?
Aha! So I'm going to call that out in just 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Here we go. So Charles, Josue, Kristen, Levon, and Sherry, you guys are group 1. Let's write that down. Group 1. Write that down, don't forget. April, Barb, Darren, Katie, and Lauren, you are group 2. Write that down, don't forget. Group 2. Alex, Joyce, Marie, Maureen, and Wansuk Choi, you are group 3. Write that down. Ariel, Deborah, Karen, Kathleen, and Lisa, you are group 4. Write that down. And group 5, Michael, Michelle, Natasha, and Pam, group 5. All the rooms are opening now. You should be getting a note saying join the group. We're going to talk for about 12 minutes so you can get this activity done.
Of ours, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like we're about to enjoy some Turkish coffee with the alien.
I just saw The Shape of Water, so there's a whole romantic component to this that I probably wouldn't have seen previously. I think you're going to fall in love. I'm an optimist.
He's got a lot of nodules.
Is that good or bad?
You guys have got sick minds there. Just he's got a lot of nodules.
But they make me feel a little ambivalent. And I'm wondering what those do if I should come hither. And I would like to learn more about the nodules.
Ooh la la.
There are some very specific biological questions from this group.
Oh my God.
And what is it he's serving?
It's either coffee or tea. It looks like those Russian tea room.
A samovar.
Yeah.
It's a vaccine in a cup.
It's a vaccine in a cup.
He's got the cure. He brought it to be nice, but who knows if people will trust him or her or they.
what I like about the vaccine in a cup idea is that there's kind of like some real science behind that. Because isn't a vaccine actually like a part of the virus?
Right.
So that's fucking brilliant. We got to put that on our chart.
Because even when this vaccine comes out, it's all of this. The government is that evil alien. Like, oh, come here, look pretty. Just trust me. Let me like shoot you up with this thing that may or may not have these little like built-in microchips, so I can track everything. If you go offline, I still know exactly what you're doing and thinking. But it's okay, my dear. Just come here.
Ooh. Now, my mother was a beatnik who refused to allow me to be vaccinated for polio till they came up with the little cup with the sugar solution in Berkeley, California in the 60s.
Ooh.
So I'm remembering that. That was a big day.
So you took the oral version of the polio or the
Yep.
MMS vaccine only when
Yep.
your mother that was like the dead virus, right? It wasn't the live virus. So she was scared of the live virus,
Right.
but she gave you the one that was like the sugar cube.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looks like the COVID,
Yes.
except it's usually red. And so maybe this is the vaccine because this is green. And so it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, he's
It's the pro-vaxxer.
But it's alien.
Did we, I might have missed something because I was talking to my daughter, but did we assume that this alias virus is male? Are we using he, his
I just
pronoun?
used visit. I've been taking notes and I just said visitor. I didn't use a gender pronoun.
That finger feels gendered.
Elaborate, Renee.
I see a masculine something with that finger.
But there's
And
the
it sounds
cutest
like-
little ear coming over the side of the bench.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cute. It like disrupts the whole venom green evil thing.
You know, maybe Darren has got an interesting point. We normally think of him as red, but if he's green, he seems friendlier and nicer, doesn't he? We don't have to be scared of him because he's green. He's the green COVID. Let's not be afraid of him.
Yeah, green is go.
Green means go. And look at how I see the yellow spotlight
Yeah.
on the person in the apartment building.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's a
this-
male.
No, it's a menopausal woman who can't sleep.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I have never-
I need a bigger close-up. Hold on. I'm going in for a close-up. Hold on. Can we see what the gender is of the person in the window?
Poor Darren, he's like, damn. What I put into this group?
I'm wondering what's next to the LP tank. Is that a crucible, like to make a drug, or is it an ashtray?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's an ashtray. I know it well.
Wait, where?
Sort of
Yeah.
behind the samovar.
Okay,
Yeah,
what group are you guys?
cigarette or something
Can you
in there.
please annotate, Darren? Circle the thing you're talking about on the annotation. What annotation group are we?
Are we
Two.
two?
Two.
Ew.
Okay, so show me what you mean. I don't get it.
If I can use the tool.
It's an ashtray or one of those those grinder little thingies.
Range.
Uh,
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Transparent.
I have to yell at my kid to get out of the shower because he has a doctor appointment here in 20 minutes.
Go ahead, multitask. You have to do it.
There, how's that? I hope I'm annotating Our groups.
Are you anonymous platypus?
Oh, no. How's that? Is that there?
I'm looking.
I tried to box it in yellow.
Oh. Why can't I see that? So clearly that idea of collaborative annotating of the image is not quite, I'm not quite figuring that out. Do you mean, is it the thing that's on the wooden box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think it's a ashtray or?
I was thinking maybe a crucible, like in the old pharmacies, or.
To make
But-
the vaccine.
For our
You mean
purposes,
like a mortar and pestle thing? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have the right term.
Listen, that thingy that you smush the stuff.
Squish that thingy.
Okay, so what about the protocol? I wonder, and I would like to learn more about.
Mm.
So we wrote, I wonder what those modules are for. And I would like
Nodules,
Nodules?
not modules. Yep, good job. Yep, what are those nodules for? Is the finger gendered? I wonder if the COVID is a masculine. I wonder if the person in the window is also a guy. This could be like a romantic thing. There's definitely some sexual tension there. We've obviously established that.
But I imagine that virus's voice, it's almost like, hey, little kid, come here. Like he's like, hey, kid.
Put that dialogue in. I love that idea that we invent the dialogue.
That crate's like,
Heavy smoking COVID.
and you got this crate, so it's like multi-purpose. I see him like you flip it, and all the goodies for his like meth lab little setup there are inside to carry to the next little parcel, and then you empty it, flip it upside down. Now it's a table to make you look all like pristine and proper.
Oh, it's like a high-tech tool that he can reconfigure at will. That's brilliant, Katie. That's it.
That's nice.
Yep. Yeah, this has got the makings of a like superhero movie. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, kid, come here.
Yeah, okay, our alien has definitely turned to male.
and a little predatory too, all of a sudden.
It seems like this is happening either in the early morning or I see the color of the buildings, and I infer that this is early in the morning or like at nighttime. Also, the yellow spotlight is coming from nowhere, right? So
Definitely between 3:45 and 4:15.
right when school gets out.
No.
Then you got that yellow.
Oh, AM.
Well, and there's also that yellow right at the door. So is it this path?
Oh.
Yeah.
Almost showing the guy how he, or whoever the person is, how they could walk the path.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Serving at your next local staff meeting.
Great.
I wonder what the illustrator would think if he or she knew that we were doing this right now.
Oh, write that down. That's great. Oh, that's so meta. That's
Okay,
so
I have a
media
question,
literacy.
Renee. Renee, do you have the year for this image?
Oh yeah, this was produced just recently, very recently.
Okay.
Right, very, very recently. That's great. I wonder what the artist would think that we're using his work for some kind of media literacy activity. Some kind of playful fun.
I need to learn how to spell scrutinizing. Let's see, what can I do here?
Okay, so I wonder, astanidoma. What the hell is that? Any of the researchers in the room can take a little, or the librarians can take a little stand and figure that one out for us? Astanidoma.
Oh, the hashtag.
What the hell is that?
Oast sounds like east.
Stanidoma hashtag on Twitter.
It almost looks like Nordic or something. Like, I wonder if this is, I don't know.
It's from the Zagreb tourist board. Zagreb was my favorite Yugoslavian city back when Yugoslavia was a thing.
Oh.
Stanidoma. But I don't know what it means.
Okay, so, but it's from Zagreb?
Croatian. It's definitely Croatian.
Croatian, and what does it mean?
I don't know.
Astanidoma.
Let me go back here. Stanidoma.
Good point. Why is there only one green noduled individual hustling customers? Yes, right, good point. Is this like a soul, he's kind of cornered the market?
Precisely.
Because we would think he would be hanging out with a whole gang.
It means stay at home, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you rock. I love librarians.
So I guess
Good job. How did you, Barb, how did you sleuth that down? What was your process?
Oh, there's this amazing website, Google. I don't know if you've ever used it, but you put something in and shit just comes out. It's stunning.
That's the truth.
You are
I
good.
did not look at the first thing. That's the trick with Google is you have to go through a couple of, loops.
It's a process. Yeah, it's a process.
I put up at the very top, I said, is it a vaccine or virus? I'm wondering if this character is trying to infect other people. That's why he's trying to lure them in the middle of the night.
100%.
With his creepy gendered finger and his creepy nodules and like.
No, I think you're right. I think that's probably the initial purpose of it. I think we're giving him too much credit. I think you're right. Stay at home or this little fella get ya.
Yeah. I think it's we're being a little bit too glass half full on this character. I think but
I think it's actually interesting that our initial feeling was to like him. And to see him as a good guy. Yeah. And there's something there about, especially now, when we're all feeling itchy to go outside, I can easily reframe my thinking to go, oh, it's not that bad.
Right.
He's in his stance, he's just kicking back, got his arm up on
his posture.
Yeah.
Oh, Katie, put something in about that. You're right. It's his posture on the chair that makes him so approachable.
Oh yeah, he can wait all night. He's in no hurry.
I thought that it was his ear, but now I see that it's his arm reclined.
Oh yeah, it's his
And you're right. Yeah, I thought it was a cute floppy ear.
It's a power. It's like if you're familiar with that Amy Cuddy TED talk about body language, it's a power move he's doing because he's like, he may as well be like, have his leg up and he's, kind of.
Well, he might have one up. We only see 1 foot.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
you're right. He might be using the power move. Write that down in the thing. That's really, really good. He's got power body language, including his foot might even be resting on the. Good noticing about there's only 1 foot. Of course, maybe that's a nodule. Or is that a foot?
It looks like his legs are crossed.
Yeah.
His upper body is open,
Yep.
But right, he's definitely not upscale.
We're back.
Okay, we're back.
That was like we were just yanked out.
Yes,
we were.
I know that
Sorry,
feeling of
Mike.
being yanked is not a fun feeling. As a recommendation on how to fix that feeling, that would be great. Okay, so we're just going to go group by group and have you guys just kind of talk us through. One of the things we're going to get a chance to see is like, you know, what meaning did you make? Group 1, talk us through your notes and what happened in your room.
Oh.
Maybe you could just read aloud the slide.
Wow.
Okay.
I love how they changed it. That I was.
Yeah.
That is
That's
fantastic.
very cool.
We didn't get to that. We didn't
No.
get up to that.
We weren't, yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
We're dealing with what was inside, not was, yeah.
Look at this. Look what they put on the whatever.
That's great.
Ah.
Samovar, how do you pronounce that?
Samovar?
Yeah.
Samovar.
Wow.
Skull and crossbones.
Jerry or Charles, does somebody want to jump in and read the 1 through 2 or 1 through 4?
Please read it.
I'll read one. I see a single person in a lit room and 10 additional in the building to make the person inside seem connected. It's very dark on the outside. An unknown on the outside, alien or virus serving tea, though some people interpreted the vials as a vaccine or a representation of cultural gatherings that we are trying to avoid at these times.
So the idea being like, we're inviting you out for tea, but you don't have an idea if that's going to be safe or not when you go there.
Right.
Exactly.
Or that it's the virus. You know, come on out and I'll give you the virus.
That's how I thought.
You know, and one of the big things we talked about, we were wondering where everybody else was.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the unique characteristics of having our modern relationships with screens is that we tend to feel this is our window into the outside world. And part of why we wanted to add that component to the image, because the luring, the finger being pointed and trying to attract folks to the tea gathering, it really happens through our screens. And it can connect us, but at the same time, make us feel isolated, like Charles noted.
Wow, that's a great point.
Yeah, which is where number 2 comes in. This image makes me feel X because it's weighed with the necessity of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we each kind of had our own feelings about it.
Nice.
Mm.
Does anybody have any questions for group 1? Or would you like to give some warm appreciation? What did you like about group 1's work?
I loved how they added the little poison thing and the little, you know, the cell phone with the heart. That was really a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like they remixed. It's a little bit of a remix, right? By putting in your own,
Yeah.
And turning the beckoning motion into a cell phone, which beckons us all. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I hate that they tell me every week what my average was. It was at 5 hours a day. I was horrified. So, yeah.
Yeah, it transforms putting a cell phone there definitely transforms deepens the symbolism of this as a critique of our, like Josue said, our dependence on screens. Nice. Okay, are you ready to go to, can we give group 1 a little bit of applause, please? Good work, group 1. Group 2. So it seems like I can't move forward without coming back. It's so strange. I'm learning the hard way. It's like I'm making all my mistakes with you guys. This is hard. How come I can't do that?
Yeah, you know, Zoom won't let you go from shared screen to shared screen. You have to go out and in.
Out and in. So
But
it's
you
not
can-
just me.
You can, Renee, as long as you're doing it as a presentation, you have to use the presentation tools at the bottom of so put it in present mode.
Hold on here. I can't even find where it is now. It's kind of like disappeared altogether. Where did it go?
It's probably full screen in another window. Try Command Tab on your Mac. Thumb on Command and Tab.
Command Tab. Oh no, it wants to minimize Zoom when I'm recording the meeting. I can't do that. Oh
You want somebody else to share?
Yeah,
your
somebody
screen?
else share the screen, please.
I'll do it, Renee.
Thank you.
I gotcha.
God, I get by with a little help from my friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's go to group 2. Group 2, can you talk us through your crazy slide?
We
Group 1.
we had all kinds of conversation with our
That's vaccine in a cup. Oh yeah. That's clever.
we kind of went all over the place. I don't know how to really summarize.
Just read it out loud, Laura.
Let's see. Well, I'll read the first one out loud, and then I'll give somebody else a turn. I see vaccine in a cup, or is it the virus in a cup? It was funny, at the beginning, we started out thinking maybe it was vaccine, but then the more we looked at it, the more we thought, no, it's probably the virus, but given all the other elements of the picture. I see the virus kind of using an Amy Cuddy power pose. You know, he's kind of open, kind of like with the finger luring. Yeah. So those were elements of it. Whoever wants to take it.
Lauren, do the voice. What is he saying?
Hey kid, come here.
That was awesome.
Too crusty to clown.
Marge from The Simpsons.
Yes.
There's also a lot of discussion about modules in our group.
A lot of uncomfortable discussion about modules.
Not modules.
Not
Modules.
Nodules.
Learning modules.
Yeah, I think I was especially interested in whether this was a male alien virus. That finger looked so gendered. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We saw the sexual Freudian undertones.
Yeah.
Sometimes a finger is just a finger, Renee.
Touche.
You're not talking about somebody that's in the news right now, are you? No.
Nodule is just a nodule.
All right, let's go. Let's give. Does anybody have any questions for group 2?
No, but can I go back to group 1 for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Get to the last one, and their last comment, I agree, is like, what is with that hashtag?
Yeah.
We looked it up. It's it means stay inside. It's Croatian.
Oh, really? Oh.
Okay. Thank
Very
you.
interesting.
Okay.
Information.
Okay, let's go to group 3.
Interesting.
Group 3.
We spent a lot of time doing detective work, so I think
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. You want to go ahead, Joyce?
Yeah, we started, we realized that this is actually a meme, that the artist, Ibrahim Tankay, he produced this, but it's been going around the internet in a variety of different ways. So it's possible that the hashtag Astana Doma, or stay home, is not on the original, and it was pasted on there by other folks who shared it.
Oh.
In other variations, it says, I cannot say this, this is an older version of what I've been continuing to work on it. It really is in that thought speech bubble. He's saying, come man, there is T, not K, and that's in Turkish. So this has been, but one of the things, if this is actually started in the Middle East with the samovar, the types of cups, and the pipette type stirrers, it's possible this was created during Ramadan. And it's
Oh.
possible that that this might have been an especially lonely feeling for people who are used to celebrating and
Oh.
praying together. And so the building sort of evoked that for me. I'd been to Turkey. I don't know why, but certainly the samovar and the types of cups gave a Middle Eastern feel. And then when I started looking at where it had been shared largely, at least initially, in the Middle East. And so why doesn't somebody else fill in some of the other detective work and stuff we did?
Yeah, because we tried looking up the we spent some time trying to figure out what the thing at the top meant and the name, and I actually found the artist's Facebook page, and I was just kind of scrolling through as we were talking now to see if I could find out if he had it posted on there, so then we would know originally. Oh, I just found it.
Yeah.
So he posted it on March 27th.
Oh.
Originally on his own website. So I'd be curious to see if that lines up with Ramadan.
Yeah, I'll
we
share
should
the
have
link.
some-
And then
Just before, near the start of it.
Yeah.
Right before Ramadan or during Ramadan.
Right. So maybe that's one of the
It's very cool that you did the research.
I agree. Awesome. Little applause for group 3. Doing detective work about the context.
Yeah.
Right? So in media literacy, we say you can analyze the text, but you also can analyze the context and the culture. Awesome. Group 3, good work. Let's go to group 4. Talk us through what you put up on the slide, team.
So I didn't do the writing. This is Deborah. And I had a weird screen thing where I couldn't see people's faces. I don't know. I'm using a different computer today. So basically, we got to the first 3 questions, and this is basically a rendition of our responses, in the different categories, 1, 2, 3. So these, clearly were all our very unique reactions to what we saw. I personally have been having the weirdest dreams. No matter what I take before I go to sleep, I have very weird dreams. So I was just looking at the gestalt of this as somewhat very nightmarish, whereas people very clearly were deconstructing, the themes of the virus and the sense of foreboding. But by looking at this, I think we all felt such a strong foreboding when we got to our I wonder that we never got out of question 3. And we all just started talking personally about our own concerns, where we are now, our concerns about will we go back to work? Are we actually meeting the needs of the people that we want to serve? And how is this impacting where we are in our lives? So we never got, to question 4, but we had, I think, a very healthy, if depressing, discussion about our very present concerns. So after the mood meter, I think this was like shot us down wherever we were beforehand.
Oh.
But it's okay because it was a healthy talk through.
Yeah. I am really appreciative, Deborah, of your team's effort here. I think understanding how images create and reflect different moods and feelings is super important. Yeah. And this one, the ambiguity of it leads to a lot of different possible moods and feelings.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like now seeing the others, it's just so amazing to me how, our group was all about how it affected each one of us, as Deborah just said, and not the other groups. I mean, I love the group 3 doing all that research and looking at it from a research perspective and an educator perspective too, which is great. But, and group 1 really taking it, no, we're going to remake it and we're going to make it our own and we're going to change the whole trajectory of what this means and make it our own. But they're so different. That's what I love that.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
Shows you how the group process, impacts what one person says, impacts another.
Right.
You absorb those feelings in a way, or you're
I think
transferring
it's
those
that we
feelings.
share it.
There's always that filter whenever so I always use that with my kids too. In media literacy, I mean, there's no black and white. There's nothing binary. any kind of visual literacy that you're trying to teach them. And wow, what we just did is this is such a perfect example of that, where sometimes you have to have this filter. You can't not bring in your own stuff. And that's something that people, you can't forget that. You can't not. It's almost like, there are those that believe the present is the present and there's nothing else, and I'm not a believer of that. I think that we are all where we are today. We are a summation of everything that's gone before us. And I do believe that. And I believe that in media literacy, when you're looking at something, it's never the two-dimensional thing or that you're actually looking at.
Right.
There's so many ways of interpreting it. God, what a great way of seeing it.
Let's give group 4 a little round of applause for waking us up to the emotional dimensions of this. And now we're going to go to group 5 as our final slide, and then we'll do some more reflection in our few minutes remaining. Group 5. Group 5, talk us through your slides.
That's perfect. That's great. That's great.
Go ahead, talk us through your slides.
Mike, I think this is you. Did you add that? The finger?
Owning up to it.
To own up. No one wants to own up for it.
I don't know who added the finger, but I'll walk us through
I
the
did.
text.
I was
Very
muted.
good.
I was muted. It's group 1's fault. But I added it.
That EP's finger. Looks like either EP or the Grinch's finger.
That's the peace sign, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So we talked a lot about we were all over the place, but we talked a lot about the lure of the samovar and the cultural relevance of a good Balkan tea, and how that would be, both social and delicious, and especially if you're out of it at home. So we also did some talking about what it would mean for us. And Natasha said that she couldn't believe that an ice cream truck had been down her street this weekend. And Michelle said, that would be my samovar of tea. That if I heard the ice cream truck,
right,
I'd want to be going out.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
And I saw somebody's post that there were a lot of people in Rhode Island on the beaches this weekend because it was so beautiful. And that's the ocean. The lure of the ocean is pretty big here.
We did talk about whether or not we thought this would be effective, because we assumed right away that this was about luring and stay at home. And we thought, I suggested, due to all the sort of polarization, we've already heard all this, so people's minds are set politically on whether or not they take this seriously or not, or they believe it's a conspiracy or not. And it's just, so much of this is cemented already in our consciousness. So whether or not the PSA would be effective here, probably not in our estimation. Or at least
and we also mentioned the different political stances and how some people would view this.
Yeah.
As some kind of infringement on their rights, or
right,
challenge to their own personal responsibility of being able to take care of themselves, like staying inside is the only option.
Yeah, I thinking about our conversation, I'm interested that I think about half of it was on what Scott was talking about on interpreting the message and its purpose and whether it would be effective here in our context. And then about half of it became really personal, which you see some of these comments from about like our own experience of people either following the stay at home or not. And then our own experience of
being tempted or not. And so I think that in itself is an interesting media literacy thing to always try to keep in mind, is to balance that stuff, where you balance the personal with sort of the more distant analytical. In discussion is a pretty nice thing to do.
Okay, so let's give group 5 a big round of applause. And thank you to all of you for participating in this approach to virtually viral Hangouts. In the last, Karen did such a great synthesis that I just kind of want to underline and remind her of the key points that she made about how we bring ourselves into the reading process and the writing process as well. But we only have 2 minutes remaining. How would you modify or adapt this activity to meet the needs of your learners? How could you modify or adapt this activity to meet the needs of your learners?
Well, Renee, I was thinking about, there's so many different ways you could use this. Obviously, you just change the image. It just lends itself to a million different conversations. I was thinking about teaching about copyright and fair use and images of performers. I think with very little prompting, an image of a performance or a performer could easily lead people to that sort of dialogue. I think one of the things that's interesting about the image that you chose, and then I'll shut up, is that it had it had a lot of little different elements. So you could pick out different directions to go, and I think that would be an important thing to think of as I was selecting another visual.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Other ideas? How would you adapt this or modify this?
Well, I'd probably have to make it a little bit less culture. I was going to say deep, because teaching middle schoolers would probably get into a great conversation even about this one. I find with high schoolers, their first, the first thing that they say is, "What do you want me to say about it?" Right, and every time I give them back that answer, no, I have no parameters. It's up to you. I'm telling you, you are free to do what you want. That's, for a lot of them, that's the hardest thing that they can possibly deal with. So I was thinking that through the whole thing. Man, I want to try this. I'm going to try this tomorrow because I have 2 classes that I would try this with.
You know what though, Karen, one of the big issues that we've had, our teachers don't want to use breakout rooms because they're afraid that, what are the kids going to say or what are the kids going to do? And I feel like the point that you brought up is exactly why they should be doing it. Because they spend so much time depending on their teachers to tell them exactly what to do all the time.
I love the breakout rooms. Those are the best, and I've been saying that to all my colleagues. The breakout room doing exactly this, because I hop in and out. And they don't know when I'm going to hop in. So, they know that. But the breakout rooms have been, even my 6th graders are amazing. They amaze me more than anybody. What they can pick up on, and their writing, they get it. They get into these really philosophical conversations. It's fantastic.
Well, we are looking forward to hearing the stories about how you adapt to this protocol to other activities. Tomorrow we have an equally interesting conversation planned, so let's wave goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us in Virtually Viral Hangouts. Be safe, wash your hands, take care of the people you love. Bye-bye.
Thank you.